Pete Flaherty's an old friend of mine, even though I haven't seen him or talked to him in years. National Legal and Policy Center chairman. How are you, buddy?
Good, Mark. Good to be with you.
Well, you sent me an email and you were arrested on Saturday, and I said, maybe the audience wants to hear about this. You were arrested on Saturday. What in the world were you doing?
Well, I was doing something that one would not expect to result in arrest. I was at the Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting, shareholders meeting in Omaha, Woodstock for Capitalists that took place this weekend. I was the presenter of a shareholder proposal that we are sponsoring, the National Legal and Policy Center. I was given 3 minutes on the agenda to speak in favor of our resolution, as were other proponents. I got about a minute into my remarks and was interrupted by a Berkshire official who approached me from the side, and I appealed to the chair. I said that I was not going to be censored, and I appealed to the chair, who was Warren Buffett, and I won the appeal. He told me to continue, but to stay within the 3 minutes. I got about another 30 seconds or so, and Buffett started saying something. I really couldn't make it out, but in any case, soon after my mic was cut, within seconds, I was surrounded by representatives of something called Clark International Security. I was told I had to leave. I said I would leave when I finished my statement. And soon after, a uniformed Omaha policeman who was nearby was summoned. He placed me under arrest and dragged me out of the arena.
So they didn't like what you were saying.
No, and
What
what's
were you
remarkable, what's remarkable is at the time I was dragged away, I was still within my 3 minutes. I thought I had a positive ruling from the chair already, and it was a little unclear to me whether my microphone had been turned off. But what I was talking about was our shareholder proposal for an independent chairman. I was arguing that Warren Buffett is so identified with Berkshire, the company, that the company risked reputational harm by his politics. And I pointed to all the money he's put into the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It's going to support things like critical race theory and gender ideology. And we all know about Bill Gates's response to COVID, which he was repeatedly wrong. And but I really touched the third rail on a mention of Jeffrey Epstein. I talked about Gates. I said rhetorically that we know how much he cares about children, and that he traveled and met with Jeffrey Epstein many times, even after Epstein had been convicted of sex crimes. And apparently that was too much for Buffett, and at that point my mic was cut, and I was carted off to jail.
Tell me what they did to you in terms of arresting you in the car and then taking you to jail.
Well, I wish to make clear that the Omaha police were courteous and professional the whole time. I have absolutely no problem with them. But I was led from the arena. I was transported downtown by 2 more cops. I was searched. I was handcuffed. I was charged. I spent about 3 hours there. I finally bailed myself out, and I was a free man again.
What were you charged with?
I was charged with criminal trespass, which is a curious charge. I was on the agenda. Now, it is true that Berkshire Hathaway had control of the arena and had their security there, but they are a public company with public shareholders who have rights. It's not. They don't have total control over the meeting. It's subject to the laws of Delaware, the corporate laws in Delaware, where Berkshire Hathaway is incorporated. It's also subject to regulation by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Mark, I've been a shareholder activist for 19 years. I've never had my mic turned off, and much less being arrested. And I've never heard of any other shareholder activist ever having that happen to them. This is unprecedented.
Do you think your group, the National Legal and Policy Center, will sue Buffett for what he did?
Well, I would maintain that I was falsely arrested.
Exactly.
Perhaps it was a malicious prosecution. Those questions are being reviewed by our general counsel, Paul Kamenar, right now.
And he's a great lawyer. He's an old friend of mine as well that I haven't talked to in years. But nonetheless, I haven't talked to anybody in years, Pete. It's not just you.
Well, I talked to him a lot today, I'll tell you that.
Good. Good. Now, let me ask you this. Did anybody in the arena at all come to your defense?
I was booed a bit. I was booed last year. You got to remember that people come from all over the world for this meeting. People adore Warren Buffett. They're his fans. But at the same time, both this year and last year, I received many expressions of support for people who were there. In fact, the videotape evidence we have came from people who just sent it to us unsolicited. The meeting, the Q&A, the popular Q&A with Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett was carried live stream on CNBC. They had an exclusive deal. The business part of the meeting where I spoke was not carried anywhere, and I believe that was designed. So we had to rely on just ordinary people sending us videotapes, and they've been doing that, and it's from several angles. And we're grateful for those folks who checked in, and they also gave us expressions of support when they sent us that video.
Well, do you think you were targeted because they knew who you were from the prior year?
Their guard was up. When I got there, the liaison from Berkshire came over to me and said, well, I hope you're going to stay on topic, which struck me as very odd. That's never happened to me before. At a shareholder meeting, I have the right when I'm at that microphone to say anything I want, and they have no right to control what I say, and they have no right to silence me, yet they did.
Yeah, I think it might be a very, very important lawsuit for the entire movement to hold these boards and these companies accountable. If people want to help you, Pete, if they want to learn more about your organization, where do they go?
Go to our website, nlpc.org.
Let's put that on our sites, Mr. Producer, nlpc.org. Pete Flaherty, keep us informed. Take care of yourself, man.
You bet, Mark. Thank you.
Stay out of jail, for God's sakes.